Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Matthew Shalom. I will be your instructor for this tutorial. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use brackets. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is go and actually download brackets. So if you go to your web browser, you can type in the word brackets. And brackets is a coding environment, a place where you can write code very simply. It's a very clean product, it's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it should work exactly the same on PC and Mac. So you'd go to brackets. And what you do is you'd see a screen like this, and no matter if you're on your PC or your Mac, it would download the correct extension or the correct program for you. You'll click download. Once you've downloaded brackets, you're going to then open it up. And for me, obviously, I'm using a Mac right now. PC, you'd find it through your programs section. So once you open up brackets, mine's going to have a couple things already open on it. But in general, this is what brackets look like. Now, it's a very simple environment. It's not going to have code like this when you open it up for the first time. But let's just say we're going to create a new actual line of code or a web page or an HTML document. So the first thing to do is click File and go New. Once you click New, this is what you'll see. You'll see a blank document. Now, one thing to notice is that it's untitled, right? So you haven't labeled it yet, you haven't titled it yet, and that's an important thing to do because if you look at the bottom right-hand side here, this is the kind of code that Brackets is viewing it as. So for example, if I go to one of our pages here and grab a little bit of code, which is a basic bit of code here, and I paste it in, you notice that the code is there. It's great. It's like a text file, though. It doesn't show any coding elements in the sense of the colors, doesn't highlight it, and doesn't break it down. So one of the first things you want to do is define the type of page or code you're working with. So in this case, we're creating an HTML document. So if it's still untitled, so I'm going to go File and go Save As. Now, you'd want to make sure you save it in the right directory wherever you want to reclaim or access this. So I'm just going to call this website sample and then .html. And I put .html there. I hit save. Now something changes. Now the code changes. We get colors, different elements. What Brackets is doing is helping you identify what pieces of code are happening and what they're doing. So you notice here down in the bottom right hand corner, it says HTML because that's the kind of file that we have defined our code in. So some key things I want you to do. When you open a new file, that's what you do. Obviously new, make sure you define the type of file. It's an HTML document. On the right hand side here, there's a little, let's say, icon that says Extension Manager. You're going to click Extension Manager, and there are some extensions I want you to download. And the reason why is they'll help you define your code and also clean things up. Now, I know many of you are sitting here probably saying, Matt, I'm not a code person. I know nothing about code. You're in the right place. You're in the right class. We'll develop this, have fun with it, and we'll get you all up to speed to at least have an understanding of HTML and CSS. Okay? So the first thing I want you to download is an extension called Emmet. E-M-M-E-T. So essentially, you'd go E-M-M-E-T, and you'd come up and you'd click Install. And basically, there are about five actual extensions I want you to get. The first one is Emmet. And if the next one I want you to get is called Beautify. Now, when you search this, spell it exactly how it is. So with a capital B and the word Beautify. And then you install it. And then beautify.io and then install. And then Brackets Color Picker, exactly spelled that same way. Hit install. Then the next two would be Brackets CSS Color Preview, install. Color Highlighter, and then hit install, and then obviously you've downloaded Emmet as well. So those, actually one more, HTML Skeleton. Now these extensions are there just to help you view your code and help you work through coding quicker. It's really rare for someone to code from scratch on their own all the time. A lot of times you borrow it from other people, and using programs like Brackets helps you work through it. So once you've installed and downloaded those different extensions, you might see on the right-hand side a couple different icons here, right? You won't just have one or two, you'll have three or four. Now, one of the great things about this extensions here is that if you want to view the web page you've created, you can do this by clicking this little icon here. Now, this live preview icon has to use Google Chrome. So if you don't have the Google Chrome browser downloaded, download it on your computer and Brackets will access it. So once I click this, it's going to access and then give me an example of what my web page looks like. And you might be thinking, Matt, that's not a very beautiful web page. Well, it's not designed to be. It's just saying, hey, here's the code. We'll go over what all these things mean later on, but essentially, this is the title, my first web page. Well, this is the title here. And this is the body, this is my first web page, and this is my first web page. So as I use brackets, you can go through, get live previews of what you're doing, and really just work through the code in the class. And obviously we can go through it once you're in class as well. But essentially that's the simplest version of brackets, how it works, and sort of the functionality of things. There's a lot more stuff it can do, but ultimately it's a simple program I definitely want you to be aware of and have a lot of fun time using it because it's a great program to work with. Thanks guys, I'll see you in class or on our online courses soon.